You're clearly not the body. You're not your emotions, at least I hope not, because they change all the time. Are you your thoughts? That would be even worse, you know. I mean, there's so many thoughts, how could I be? So who are we?
Jack Kornfield is one of the most beloved meditation teachers in the world today. Through humor and storytelling, he makes traditional Buddhist teachings and practices accessible, friendly, and inclusive. Jack is a creative powerhouse. He's the author of numerous books, holds a PhD in clinical psychology, and is the co-founder and principal teacher at the Spirit Rock Meditation Center in Woodacre, California, a center that is visited by an estimated 40,000 people per year, having taught meditation for nearly 5 decades now. Jack Kornfield is a trusted elder, a mystic today. To begin, Jack, it is such a delight and an honor to be with you here at Spirit Rock in this beautiful meditation hall. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. I'm glad to be with you, Tammy. We have a very long 30-year dance we've done of all kinds of creative things, so it's great to be together.
This series is about mystics, being a mystic today. What does that mean to you?
When you first asked me, I thought, mystic, I don't use that word. I don't see myself as a mystic. But then I thought, the root is mystery. And that's 100% true, because there's a mystery of who we really are that I've spent my life understanding. We could call it the one who knows the awareness, the mystery, the consciousness that was born into your body, that will leave it when you die. And we as human beings have this capacity to open beyond the separate sense of ourself, which is, yes, it has to be honored. You have to bathe it and take care of it and feed it. But we're embedded in a living world and in a world that's filled with the sacred, because that's what everything is. And so a mystic is really someone who can see this mystery. One of my favorite stories, if you will,
Please.
or images for mystic, is the great Christian mystic Thomas Merton. That moment where Merton came out of his monastery, he said we were all practicing in our way, trying to be holy people. And suddenly I was walking down 4th Street, and I could see the secret beauty behind the eyes of everyone I passed, that holiness that was born into them that they forget, that is who we really are. It wasn't in my monastery. I saw it there. He said, the only problem was I felt down and I felt like I could kneel down and worship everyone that walked by. And so this was his vision. And his vision was that ability to see the sacredness and the beauty and the mystery that we are and that we're always a part of.
One of the ways that you teach that's been so interesting to me is that when you talk about this knowing, you sometimes describe it as loving awareness. And what I like about that so much is this quality, the loving quality. And I wonder if you can address that. Is that innate in this witness state, loving awareness?
I hope so. It's a phrase, actually, I must say, that I borrowed from Ram Dass. All along, from very early on in teaching, we've included metta, loving kindness, and mindfulness, and so forth, put them together. That phrase, loving awareness, not only captures the practices that, and this lineage that I've trained in and passed on, but it really captures who we are, that we're not this body. You know, you were this little baby, and then you got to be an adolescent or whatever, all the slings and arrows of life and the beautiful things, and a young person and a middle age, and now I'm an older person. You're clearly not the body. You're not your emotions, at least I hope not, because they change all the time. Are you your thoughts? That would be even worse, you know. I mean, there's so many thoughts. How could I be? So who are we? We are the consciousness itself. And then the thing that's most remarkable is that there's a part of us when we get quiet or when we remember or when we're invited by the walk in the mountains or the cathedral or the birth of a child, that we can step out of our ordinary, separate sense of self and say, wow, I see this mystery. In fact, I am part of this mystery.
So here we are having this conversation
Yes.
in this Spirit Rock meditation hall where you've taught meditation to tens of thousands of people. You've trained meditation teachers. How would you summarize, Jack, the goal of the meditative path?
The goal is freedom, inner freedom, freedom of heart to love and to be free wherever you are. So that when we talked about loving awareness, we are loving awareness. We are loving awareness itself, born into these bodies. And so the goal, in some way, is for people to recognize that that's who they are, to step out of the entanglements of life, not to get rid of them or not to get rid of the thoughts or the ego or whatever kind of spiritual story you have, but to find that freedom that is inherent in every being, that's possible in the heart, to say, wow, look at this, and not be caught in it. I remember I was with a teacher in India named Sri Nisargadatta, a famous mystic, and he was getting older. I visited him and sat with him over a series of several years. And at some point, somebody said, all right, you're now in your 80s. You know, do you have any worries about dying? He said, I have nothing to do with time and space. That's just an illusion arising in consciousness. Who I am was never born and never dies, so take that. But there was something so beautiful in what he said, because he demanded me, those of us around him, to say, who do you think you are? And in it, what I experienced being with him was somebody who didn't want anything from me. And it was a kind of love when you're with somebody who makes a deep connection and they just see you and they see you really deeply. And they love you just because we're all here, not for any reason. It's an amazing thing. It's tremendously freeing. And so the invitation for people in meditation is to come to that. Now, what's also true is they learn other things. They learn the practice of loving kindness and compassion and love, and it grows in them. They become more and more loving. They learn how to be the witness of their own body and mind, how to sit with the pains they have, to sit with the emotions, the grief and the trauma and the longing and the love and the joy and the hope, and how to actually be present to not only to tolerate their human experience, that's the neuroscientists talk about expanding the window of tolerance, but how to be gracious and amused by it, so that the idea isn't that they get out of human life, but that human life becomes more of a dance, human life becomes more of a joy. Human life is held in a free heart.